Greetings. My name is Shannon Starr, your host with RockTruth Radio. Thank you for joining us today. We live in a society today where truth, even before our very eyes, is consistently questioned, criticized, and altered to fit a person's ideology of God's original intent for the kingdom and for mankind. We believe that the Bible, our kingdom constitution, is inspired, infallible, inherent, and the final authority for all. Rock Youth, Rock Truth is founded on He who is the original point of reference for all things to come through eternity. Rock Youth, Rock Truth podcast is a cross cultural response to the diabolic climate and social crisis negatively impacting our young adults today. Rock Youth, Rock Truth is designed to serve the internal needs of our lost youth while feeding the spiritual needs they didn't know they had, needs that impact, affect, and infect the outcome of their future selves. The podcast seeks to build, apprehend, and maintain the gifts, purposes, and relevance of their kingdom existence in their environments, surrounding communities, in the world through execution of their craft. We are here to inspire, enlighten, and highlight our upcoming and established local young kings and queens of character while promoting Black consciousness and awareness of not just who they are, but to whom they belong. It is absolutely a kingdom renaissance. Hello, 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 fellow rock truthers.
Hello.
What's
Hello.
what's going on out there in the kingdom nation today?
Yo, nothing. Nothing and everything. What's
Nothing and
going
everything.
on? Yeah,
That
what's
sounds
going
about right.
I know, right? I'm telling you. Hey, Miss Michelle.
Hi, how y'all doing?
Good. How are you today?
Good, good.
That's okay. Listen, we was talking. I don't know who we talking to. It's technical difficulties all the time. So just work through it. We
Hmm.
don't care. We do
All
not.
right.
We gonna get
Yep.
through it. Well,
Roll with the flow.
yes, we're going with the plan. Hey, every single time you see me, it was like what 3 minutes before I had sound and everything together. Hey, it happens.
Right.
It just lets me know that I'm not in control, and so it's a consistent reminder. I'm annoyed slightly, but okay, fine.
It's
It's
all
all
right.
good.
Yes, yes. Well, today one is Monday. Like I love Mondays. Did I tell y'all that? Did I tell y'all I love Mondays? Do y'all see
Oh
that
no,
tweet all the
you.
time? Yeah, y'all think like that? I love
I'm
it.
trying. I'm trying to get there.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not
I'm,
there.
you're
I'm
not
not
there.
there.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
Okay,
there.
gotcha.
I love Monday. See? No,
That is too funny.
I do not like Mondays. I like to sleep on my Mondays. But however, we
You
rock
got
Hmm.
work to do.
for the youth
How,
on Mondays. It is so imperative. And what
however, yes.
ain't it? What's important, girl? Listen, I didn't stumble across
Oh, we
something I
lost her.
considered as great. Imperative
Hmm.
because it's such a conversation. Like you lost me. I'm gonna
No,
run.
you're good now. You're good now.
Did I
You're
go
good.
run?
Hmm.
Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. This is great. Like it is such a conversation builder. Like it's imperative to one have these open conversations our own mind and we rationalize as fallen depraved people, humans. You know what I'm saying? How is it that we really think and how we actually approach God with our worldly ideologies and rationales? Like this is so huge, right? That I said,
Hmm.
you know what? We got to have this every episode because we have to one capture the mindset of 12-year-olds, like if not even before. We have to recapture their minds from the world. That's
Right.
imperative. And this particular medium, Signs of Faith by Miss Michelle Virginia, I love it. This particular medium helps with curbing their mindset so they can kind of see, hey, this is how you're thinking. This is how you are actually planning against God. Like this how this works. And it's simple concepts or rather concepts that we do it and we don't think that this is what we're doing. And Miss Michelle, kudos to you. Like, let's talk about this real quick. Where did you come up with personas of faith? Like, how did this come about?
So I was actually just on my own journey of trying to seek God for answers and just finding my purpose. And that's kind of
Yeah,
where I was at when this was all birth. And I woke up in the middle of the night. I was just crying out, praying, and he gave me this vision. I went downstairs and I started writing, and I just wrote down personas of faith. Didn't
yeah,
know why I was writing it. I just I gave it some thought, and I'm like, well, God, what are you saying? What does
yeah.
this mean? I didn't even know like what it meant. And then I thought, okay, everyone's faith journey is quite different. So, and I just kept writing. Next thing you know, I have the intro to the podcast,
Right.
and that's where I was hearing that he wanted me to do was to share um the faith journeys of the characters in the Bible, because everything that they experienced in the Bible days we go through today. And so
Teach
I
them.
wanted to be able to relate to those characters because they're real people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so, you know what? Without further ado, I will, if you can go ahead and kick that up for us, I want to actually play the first episode of the podcast. Oh gosh, what is it? Half on the baby? I believe it's half on the baby.
Yes.
And if you can you set this up for us before we'll pull, yeah, he's gonna pull up everything and start. What's the premise behind half on the baby? This one good, y'all. I'm trying to tell you.
So I wanted to have a catchy title where I wanted the listeners to understand that this was going to be a Bible story that was going to come to life. And
Uh-huh.
in today's terms, that's kind of really what happened, and so we'll be able to hear exactly how that came about. When Sarah was not able to have children of her own, she did have to go half on a baby with
Right.
Hagar. So we'll kind of hear from this episode how that came about. But I just wanted it to be a little bit catchy.
Okay, coolness. All right, well, go ahead and play that up.
This podcast is intended for mature audience.
Welcome to Personas of Faith. Join me, your host, Michelle and Michelle, as I take you on a ride to experience the faith journey of some of our most famous biblical characters. Oh, you didn't know? The Bible has some of the juiciest stories ever, and I am here to give you the tea like you've never heard it before. Hear their truth through a dramatic monologue series that will strengthen your faith and have you coming back. Episode 1. Half on a baby. God did this to me. This is all his fault. He has prevented me from having children. Why would everyone want to stay with me if I can't have children? I've prayed, I've trusted God, and nothing. I can't sleep at night. All I can think about, all I can dream about is being a mother. I did what I had to do. What any desperate wife would do for their husband. I took matters into my own hands. And I'm probably gonna regret this. But I had no choice. I don't want to keep feeling inadequate. I'm not getting any younger. So I allowed him to sleep with my servant so she could have a baby for us. God, the thought of him being with another woman drives me insane. So many questions enter my mind. Will he begin to desire her more sexually? Will he love me the same? Will they continue to sleep together. She is beautiful. She's younger. Why wouldn't he? God, what? How do we explain this to our child when he gets older? I will never forget that night. The last thing I said to him before they went to sleep was, yes, Abram. Yes, do what you have to do. Thanks for listening. For more of that tea, you can go to Genesis 16. And don't forget to follow me on Spotify. Tune in to the next episode to learn about the surrogate.
Okay. So it was
in the Bible. For dramatization purposes. The author uses interpretive law.
Better. Shout out to Princess Jenny out there, Miss Nicole, Miss Jasmine Brandley, Doc Ock. Shout out to y'all. Whoa, like I'm not sure if everybody heard everything. I want to let me see if on my end it would be better as we hold on. Because I'm telling you guys, like the mindset, like even at the end, like the ideology that is surrounding how we really think, and then we try to justify our behaviors and our actions, and use God to get in on it. Like this is us, this is so us, and I definitely want this. Go ahead, Miss Michelle, keep talking. I'm a try to replay this.
Yeah, we do this. We do this all the time. We get impatient, and we think God needs our help, and we try to take matters into our own hands. And so, and then when we do that, of course, there's some regret, and we wonder if we made the right choice and everything that comes with it when we take matters into our own hands. And so I really wanted to be able to just capture those emotions that she might have had during that decision.
Absolutely. So let me see. I should be sharing my screen right now. So let me just kind of go back and see if I can get this going.
To Michelle Unveiled, as I take you on a ride to experience the journey of some of our most famous biblical characters. Oh, you didn't know? The Bible has some of the juiciest stories ever, and I am here to give you the tea like you've never heard it before. Hear their truth through a dramatic monologue series that will strengthen your faith and have you coming back for more. Episode 1, Have on a Baby. God did this. He has prevented me from having children. Why would Abram want to stay with me if I can't have children? I've prayed, I've trusted God, and nothing. I can't sleep at night. All I can think about, all I can dream about is being a mother. I did what I had to do, what any desperate wife would do for their husband. I took matters into my own hands. And I'm probably gonna regret this, but I had no choice. I don't want to keep feeling inadequate. I'm not getting any younger. So I allowed him to sleep with my servant so she could have a baby for us. God, the thought of him being with another woman drives me insane. So many questions enter my mind. Will he begin to desire her more sexually? Will he love me the same? Will they continue to sleep together? She is beautiful. She's younger. Why wouldn't he? God, and what? How do we explain this to our child when he gets older? I will never forget that night. The last thing I said to him before they went to sleep together was, yes, Abram. Yes, do what you have to do. Thanks for listening.
Okay.
For more of that tea, you can go to Genesis 16. And don't forget to follow me on Spotify. Tune in to the next episode to learn about the surrogate.
Okay. All right. So
That
now
was
we
perfect.
have that. Now we have it. Oh my gosh.
That was
So
better.
let's just start from the beginning. It's crazy how we put ourselves in these positions because we are disobedient, because we didn't listen to we didn't believe him when he told us. Let's be very clear. When he told us what was straight up, we did not believe him and decided to devise a plan that we thought was going to just simply benefit ourselves and pretended as if it was going to benefit other people around us, even though the center of it is self, right?
Right,
And then
right.
the nerve, when it doesn't go that way, to go back and get the same person you should have listened to in the begin with to come and dig you up out of the mess that you put all these
Buried
other
yourself in.
Miss Shannon, what are your thoughts? I'm back.
I mean, my first thought when I first listened to it, I was out working, seeing my patients, and the first thought that came to mind was I thought how really unique it was, because
Yeah.
for me, sometimes it's hard to relate to the Bible. If you don't know how to study the Bible, it kind of just seems like these stories that's history stories. They are history stories, but it's hard to connect with, and it's like, oh, that's just a story. That doesn't have nothing to do with my life now. But I
Right.
think you did an awesome job at
Thank
capturing
you.
the reality of the Bible in today's life, in today's society, for that has made it relevant for us to understand and connect to. So that was my very first thought, was like, wow. And then when you talked about the youth, this being something vital for the youth, to have, even in that, it'd be something that the youth will be able to connect to easier, just versus picking up the Bible and just reading out of the King James Version. And it's very difficult to read, it's very difficult to understand, even if you listen to the audio versions in the Bible apps that are available. It's still very much difficult to follow if you have never been taught how to study the Bible, if you have never
Right.
been taught how to break down the Bible. It just seems like, what is this, and I think that's why a lot of the times we don't take the Bible as serious as it is. We kind of overlook it because we don't know how to connect to it. But I
See,
think you did, Michelle, I think you did a very excellent and a phenomenal job at capturing that. So that was
yeah.
my first thought. And I mean, it was just so real for me. Like it was just, it was alive. And, it was just like, oh, I got to listen to the next one. I got to listen to the next one. And they're very short clips, but it was just like, oh, well, come on then, sis, come all the way through with this. So
I
she didn't come to play. Yeah,
Yes.
man.
It's a little awkward, kind of like sitting here listening to it, like on camera. It's like, okay. But okay, I'll get out of my head. I promise.
Yes, please.
Yes, yes.
This is amazing. Like, seriously, what you have captured, and like she said, like, how is it that you are asking me to serve God, love God, and I don't understand him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't understand. I can't relate, which equals communication. And so the way you break it down helps us to communicate properly with the Bible and what's happening, and then not feel so detached from what's happening. You know, like I believe you were saying before, like the same thing that was happening to them is happening to us now,
Yeah.
right now. You know, look at the ideologies that she was going through. You know, she said at the end, I believe she said that what she say? Yes, Abram. What was her final? I'm so sorry. It was the final.
She just said, just do what you have to do.
Right.
It was almost it's like it was your idea.
Like she did, like she wasn't the one that
like
came
she
up
wasn't the one.
She planned the whole thing, then put it in his lap and said, do what you have to do, as if she was the one now having to consent to. No, you were the manipulator. You were that came up with the story. And this is what we're talking about, like just ladies, gentlemen, my kings. Like we talking about order, structure, discipline. And when this man, a woman talk to here, and we always get caught here, you know, and we feeding this to our kings, we feed and then turn it and flip it as if it was on them. Girl, I'm intrigued by this.
Because so many people, they say, well, how could he do that? Or they make it look like it's just one-sided, when it's like, well, let's look at the whole picture here.
Come on, let's look at this again.
It's like a repeat. It's like a repeat of Adam and Eve all over again. You know, the woman is manipulating her man, her king, and you know that lets us know the word is very real. You know, life, power, the power of life and death is in your tongue. Are you edifying your king, or are you bringing him down? Are you edifying yourself, or are you bringing yourself down? What are you speaking? You know, what are you speaking over your life? And Selena, like you said, we don't believe what God said from the beginning. You know, so and then you know, I know when you have to wait and things just don't look like what God spoke, then we tend to get in his way as if he needs our help to do what only he can do, you know. And then we find ourselves, like you said, you know, we done buried ourselves, and now we need him to come dig us out of this grave that we done buried ourselves too deep in, because now, you know, we're killing ourselves in our own situation, our own circumstances, because we just thought it was okay, you know, to play God in our own life. And then we want to blame God. We want to blame God for the decisions that we make. You know, we want to scratch his eyes out, so to speak, and come at him and, you know, blame him and accuse him and yell at him because of something that we did. Because why? Because he didn't move fast enough. What we don't understand is that God is so big. He's outside of space and time. So time, he's the father of time. Time belongs to him. He can move within the realm of space and time however he sees fit. And so when he speaks something, whether it's judgment or whether whatever God speaks, when he says something is to be, it happens instantly. But it doesn't happen on our side. It doesn't manifest on our side instantly. But when he speaks it, it happens in the spiritual realm. Instantaneously, because he spoke it, whether, like I said, whether it's a judgment, whether it's blessing, whatever it is. But because again, our time don't line up with his. You know, so that's where we get caught up, and we don't understand that it's there. The blessing is there. However, the time is just, we're working on our time. We don't know his time. We don't understand his time. We don't connect with his time. You know, and that's
true. He never asked us to.
He never asked us to,
Get under it.
You can stop yelling at me now, but it's okay. I hear you. I'm in the front, and I hear you.
I'm telling you. I mean, this is just, listen, this is a whole kind. I don't know if that was like a 4-minute clip, and this is a conversation with, and I can go on and on for days, just dissecting the mind of this person in this moment. And this isn't just her. It's you. Baby Michael Jackson, take a look in the mirror. It's you. This is you right here. when he's talking about make the change and the thing, this is you. This
You are crazy.
you. I need you to know that. I need you to know that this is you, because this is something else right here. Like you can really because when you can see this, you could change. When you can see you can change, and you be like, oh, I didn't mean that. I didn't know I was trying to do that. And it's about what you mastering you to not be this manipulative character just to will your way. And like you said, God's so big, this don't have nothing to do with you like that. It has everything to do with him. So he needs things to fall a particular place.
Right.
That's right.
At a particular time.
Yeah.
And
at a particular.
I thought it was like really interesting how she began to even. Now you have these insecurities. Now you're wondering, like, okay, well, what if this continues? What if they continue to sleep together? Like all of these consequences that could come out of your decision.
They came out of you, though.
Out of a mess. Yep. Out of a mess that you birthed.
Come on.
That's a gremlin. That's a gremlin. She birthed a gremlin.
Right.
She birthed a gremlin. Now within herself, though. So now she, like you said, Michelle, she's running around with all these insecurities that she probably never even knew she had, or never was, present until she did what she did.
She did it.
Now she running around like a gremlin, all in the inside, bitter and angry.
This is crazy.
And terrorizing her servant. You gave her permission. Now you terrorizing her. You're tormenting your husband. You're tearing down yourself.
No.
Terrible.
Another
just
girl
disrupted the climate in her house.
She got issues. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, look at all the stuff, and all that is being projected out of your insecurity and your disobedience. All this trickles down and happens. So when we're talking about decision making, teens, children, one decision. See, y'all be thinking like, oh, decisions don't matter. Even what I pick to wear don't matter. It matters. One decision can have a trickle down effect that you can never control. So it's like, man, be mindful. Like, again, that's 4 minutes. It ain't
unnecessary trauma, right?
Unnecessary trauma. Wow. Unnecessary.
Come on, sis.
Unnecessary.
And then look, on the next episode, it'll be unnecessary drama. We don't want to give it all away, though.
Come on.
Right. Straight fire, though. Straight fire.
Let's bring that in. Let's talk about the trauma aspect of what's happening here. Unnecessary trauma with these characters, all of these characters. What trauma is it that not only she's facing, but she's putting on other people?
Yeah. I mean, you got to even think about a marriage today, right? Yeah. When there's issues with infidelity, and even though this wasn't quite that situation, but this was a couple who they went to bed at night and they had conversation. They had pillow talk. They had, so I would imagine just the friction that it might have caused in their relationship.
Come on. Yep.
She probably looking at him some kind of way, like, I can't believe you did that. Like,
Right.
Like, I know I told you to, but you didn't have to.
Right. Do you see the crazy? Do we see crazy?
Yeah.
Are we looking crazy together? Okay. Right. I just want to know. Cray.
We all been there. We
Right.
I can admit it.
Me too.
I've told him to do something maybe that I thought was a good idea, and like, okay, but you really did that.
Yes. I mean, for real, just for me personally, just my own marriage was a push. When, again, understanding now what relationship is, it is about a person being willing. They have to be willing to do so, not because factors are, we've been together all these years, or we got children. And see, these are the manipulative tactics that personally I used to get married, because I was a single mother, which one, I did not want to be. I thought that was a stigma. I thought that was an issue to be, a single parent, to be a baby mama. Like, I thought that was the worst thing ever in life, And so that's one thing that I was trying to avoid, trying to cover up my little sin with marriage as if, you know what I'm saying? And then dragging somebody, not that he wasn't willing, it was more so not even ready. He didn't even understand. I didn't even understand. I was trying to manipulate and pull stuff my way. So I came out looking and presenting a particular way. No, man, it ain't the way to go. And you damage people in the process.
Absolutely.
Damage a whole man in the process of doing so, trying to shine, trying to make me look a certain way. You know what I'm saying?
Certain way.
Me up in this. I see this.
Yeah.
Call her hand. Like, nah, sis. I see that.
Could you just imagine?
Yeah.
I would just love to be a fly on the wall. Like, she probably was like throwing it in his face and
Right.
walking on eggshells. Like,
Girl.
oh my God, here we go again. You gonna bring this up again?
Ain't it? To be her friend, I'll be looking at her like, nah, come on.
And that's the problem. That's the problem with us women. You know, we don't even have self-awareness. We don't even know what we want, but we expect them to know what we need when we don't even know what we want half the time, more than half the time, you know. And then we walk around with these stank-a-dank attitudes. You know, everybody in the house is infected now by our poison, because now it's just pouring out of and seeping out of our pores and onto everybody else, and contaminating a whole household, and it just doesn't even, you know, make any sense. So and then now, how I look at it now, and it just came to me, is I was born into a situation. I mean, we all were born into some situations, but God made some things apparent to me about who I am. And I was born into a situation of a married woman and a single man. So my mother and father should have never been together, ever, you know.
Right.
And so I was born into not only are we already born into sin, but then I was born into another layer that just took it, much deeper. And so now when you look at Hagar's baby, you know, and now he's born, or she's going to be born, he's going to be born into this traumatic situation. And so if you know the story of eventually what happens with Hagar and her son, that became a traumatic experience for him. That didn't have to be, because all of these adults decided to make this decision and go in on it. And every single last adult is responsible for what this child is going through, or what this child is going to experience. You know, so as adults, we think it's okay. You know, we don't, you know, we look at situations, and again, it's like, okay, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But nobody's considering the children. Nobody before birth, or children that's already, you know, already here. Nobody's considering how this decision right here is going to affect the child, going to affect the children. And then later on down the line, see, that's how the enemy begins to plant his seeds in that child. The enemy plants seeds early. He attacks your identity in your childhood, because especially when he knows, okay, well, this situation, now that child was uncovered and exposed to the enemy because three adults decided to make a crazy decision from one person's impatience, you know, with God. And so now you got all of this happening. Now this child got to go through this. It just doesn't add up. It doesn't make, you can't make it make sense. Okay. And as adults, we're talking, this is a youth show. This is RockYouth, RockTruth. As adults, we have to take accountability and responsibility for what we have done to place our children in these positions. We're looking at these children out here on the streets, and we're blaming them. Oh, they acting a fool, and they doing this and they doing that. But who did they learn it from? Who put them in that position to be out here running wild and doing what they're uncovered and unprotected, and they're exposed by the enemy because of a decision that we made? Even if we thought in that moment, okay, this was the best decision. The best decision for who? Because did you really consult God? Did you really consult God, or was this one of them things that you projected what you wanted off onto, you know what I mean? What God was speaking to you. You projected your wants onto what God was speaking to you. And so of course it's going to look like he answered your prayers. Ask me how I know. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's get real. And as parents and as adults, we need to understand that children are people. Okay, they're
Yeah.
like sponges.
Come on,
They're
come
sponges. They have feelings and they have emotions. And when
on.
you're wrong, you need to man up and woman up and
Listen,
apologize and show them,
listen,
like, listen, this is
Jesus.
an adult issue. This is a me issue, and I apologize for
Mm.
what I did, and I apologize for how you feel, and I
Yeah.
apologize for what you're experiencing and what you are experiencing. This trauma, this drama, this hurt, and this pain does not belong to you. So I need you to give it back to me
Yes,
because
teach.
Mm.
it doesn't belong to you. We
Teach.
don't give them a fair chance at life, and then we
No,
look
we
at them
don't.
like, oh well, they just disobedient. They just
Come
no. It's
on,
not that
sis.
they're just disobedient.
Come
They're
on.
experiencing things in environments that we
Should be
created.
in. I
Well,
mean, shouldn't be in
well.
to begin with. Come on, sis, you teaching.
So
Yeah, I think sometimes we think our kids can't handle it,
Come on, sis.
because
Come
our
on, sis.
parents
that
were
too.
not as transparent. They didn't communicate and share certain things with us. So we carry
Right.
that. And we don't have to. They can actually handle it, and that's why we
Right.
thank God for his counsel, and his
Yeah.
guidance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
That's
on the flip side of that, Michelle, that is so true. But then we get to the point where we think that they can handle too much. Oh, they can
Uh-huh.
handle it. They can handle it. They
mm,
can handle it. So we keep doing the same things over and over again because if we did it when we were kids, why can't they do it? And then that's
wow,
how that
that's a good
cycle
point.
of trauma continues and continues because we were made to deal with something, so we just feel like that they can, and so we don't recognize that cycle, and so that cycle just continues to
Yeah.
go, and it gets passed down from generation to
Come on.
generation to
Mm,
generation. I pass it to my child, she passes it to her child, and it just goes on and on and on, and so we're not being realistic about
No.
life
yeah.
No.
by far. And we continue to operate in dysfunction. We
Come on.
Wow.
continue to operate in dysfunction, and he's not pleased with that at all.
With that.
And when you get to a point where you realize, okay, this is what's happening, it's not such an easy cycle to break, neither. It's not such an easy cycle to break because now something has been going on for so long, and the enemy, where is that fly come from? Sorry, y'all. The enemy
Thank
is
God.
bugging.
Came over to YouTube. Right?
Right. Now the enemy is like, uh-oh, somebody woke up. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Those seeds that I planted a long time ago, this is why he plants those seeds in our childhood,
Yeah.
because he knows at some point in her or his life, that's when the blessings of God is getting ready to manifest. So
Wow.
he is very patient, he's very strategic. So he waters those seeds that he plants long
Yeah.
time ago.
Come
Long
on.
time ago. And then when we think we made the career, we got married and we got the family and we
Come on,
received the
sis.
blessing, then all of a sudden there's an explosion.
There we go.
And we don't understand where this explosion came from. And the enemy said, I got something for you.
Oh
You thought
no.
you were getting away, but
Mm,
because we weren't aware of our own selves,
Yep.
gee.
that is the biggest I don't even know what to call it. That's the biggest tactic that the enemy uses against us is our identity
Yes.
Mhm.
and our self-awareness. He
Yes.
keeps
Yeah.
us so occupied with other things that we
Oh
don't
yeah.
even think,
Yeah.
to
And what that God isn't even concerned with. That I like to say
right,
us hung up on
right,
things not even hung up on no more. You know
right,
what I'm
right,
hung up on this
right.
stuff. Yeah. All tripping up. Now, man done created all this stuff. Man want to keep you focused
Hmm.
on
Mm,
this stuff.
mm, mm.
He's not focused on that no more. He know you can't be perfect. Did you
Right.
hear?
Right.
Do you believe him? When see, it's moving past, believing in his existence. You have to believe these words. Do you
Yes.
Mm.
believe him when he just said that he got you? Do you believe him when he just said that if you seek me, I'll give you everything? You don't have to do all these money making quick schemes. You don't have to come up with nothing. If he said, I'm going to bless you with a family, all you need to do at this time is prepare.
Hmm.
Yes.
Prepare.
Prepare.
That you don't know when and you don't know how, but whatever it is,
Nope.
his glories, don't get anxious about nothing because everything expedient doesn't mean it's profitable. Doesn't
Hmm.
mean it's profitable.
So
Everything
true.
Absolutely.
that you got a right to something don't mean that you're supposed to take it.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
careful. Like you gotta be, and this comes with wisdom. It comes with knowledge, like you said, just being attacked by your own identity. We don't know who we are, and he made sure we didn't know who we are. He made sure we were placed in environments that compromised who we were, because they put us in positions again that we should have never been in, and that is us. That's what caused wrath between parents, when it's that whole do what I say, not what I do.
Right. Oh, that's the worst. That's the worst.
Like that, you know what's happening right now with our children? See, they're so exposed right now, they can see through our inconsistencies. They can, even if you're on the best side, they can still see through our inconsistencies. Like, but you said, but you
oh yeah. They will hold you accountable.
Absolutely. If they don't do nothing else, they will hold you accountable. Mom, remember when you said you was going to give me $1 because I took out the trash, and it's 3 months later and I ain't get that $1? Like 3 months later, sis, for real. Yeah, they you know.
I gave you a time. Did I give you a time? Dang.
Yeah. Man.
This is good. This is good. Wow. This is good. Like, I'm so serious. Like, just at the end, like you said, this looks like the fall all over. If you kind of pay attention to your own life, you're going to watch the fall all over and over. What do you do? One, you always trying to cover yourself. You always find something to cover up what it is that you did. This is how we know. Then the next thing you know, you start blaming people.
Blaming. Ooh.
Blame game. Saying, well, no, it wasn't me. It was me. It was no one. Come on, we're gonna take ownership.
That's our story. We sticking to it.
And we sticking to it. You know what I say. You know what I say, Selena. When you point the finger, you miss the point.
Hey.
You point the finger, you miss the point. Plain and simple. What is the point? The point that is you.
Come on, it's
the point that is you. Because when you point the finger at somebody, you got 3 pointing back at you. Right? Because there's always 3 sides to a story, right?
Yeah.
You got the one finger pointing at somebody else, you got 3 pointing back at you, but then you got one up in the air, because the one up in the air is a representation of God's truth, which is the only truth, because he's able to interpret the misunderstanding and the miscommunication that even happens between
and that's normally what happens.
That's the absolute truth that we don't know. Because and I tell my children all the time, there is always a percentage of responsibility that you could take for in something. That's how you learn to take self-accountability and self-responsibility, is by looking at a situation, no matter how wrong the other person may have been. What could I have done? Oh my God. What could I have done wrong? Or what could I have done different, rather? What could I have said different to change how this situation turned out? So it's definitely one of them things, man. Like, listen, this fly don't leave me alone, y'all about to see me throw hands, okay? This fly is about to catch these hands. Where did a fly come from in the middle of winter? Like,
somebody said I would be the fly on Sarah's wall. Who asked?
Willie, right. Who said? I think Willie said it.
You said words are powerful, and when you speak, you speak things.
Yes. True. Now he's zipping around like, okay, well, let me see what's going on over here. But
yes, and you kind of jump ahead a little bit with next week, because we're gonna get into the other half of this with Hagar and how she feeling about things, and and that again, like I said, you don't understand how the one thing you do has the effect and effect on other people, and you can't control it. You can't control it. Like it's, oh my God, it's like pushing the button. After that, you have no way of stopping it anymore. Right. Like, but it's not good. It's damage. Go ahead, Miss Michelle. Oh, I thought you was about to say something, Miss Michelle.
Oh no, it was just cutting out. It was just cutting out.
But yeah, I was just saying it's damage. It's not like it's a good thing you throw, and then it's like great things that happen. It's like, no, you just push the damage button, and all types of stuff is breaking out that's beyond your control. You can't control. It's like an accident happening, crash, but you control all the stuff. 5,000 people done got in this car accident, and you can't control it. And then how it just had an effect now all of their lives. their life, their insurance, you know, whether they got to get a new car, whether they can go to work tomorrow, whether, and all this from your one decision making, not being a decision maker.
You know, the one thing I do want to point out is that the youth can learn from this for male and female. From the female perspective, the young women should be able to look at this story and realize how much power they have within themselves, and how even within that power, how much wickedness can come from them, and how they have the power to destroy, you know, something that was just set up for them to be so beautiful, you know, and for a man to understand, even in your singleness, for the young man to understand how a woman can manipulate him, you know, how he can be manipulated by the opposite sex, by the female. And so they both should be guarded. Now, the young woman, I would encourage you to learn your self-awareness, to learn who you are, to learn what your capabilities are, your abilities are, and, you know, study yourself, spend time with yourself, and understand that you can't use these things. And I'm specifically just talking, not that women are just bad, or, you know, that you're out here just doing whatever to hurt and bring people down, but just to understand, as it relates to this particular topic, that as a young girl, you do have the power to manipulate and the power to control some situations in a negative manner. So spend time with yourself and learn yourself awareness and all those type of things. And to the young man, I would encourage you to understand and guard your heart, protect your mind. Keep yourselves, both male and female, out of situations where you can end up making those types of decisions that could ultimately, from one decision, destroy your life or cause, you know, a train wreck in your future, you know. So that's the one thing that I just wanted to bring up that was sitting on my heart right now.
Oh yeah, please. I mean, yeah, I agree. I totally agree.
It's a tough lesson. Tough lesson.
Some girl, good stuff.
Because, you know, these kids nowadays is that, you know, this type of information is going to be hard to relate to them, because they ain't trying to hear none of this. You know, the society has made it so easy for them to be selfish, manipulative, you know, power hungry, greedy, and telling them it's okay to be that way. You know what I mean? So we have a fight on our hands to win back our youth and to teach them that society is wrong. There's an ultimate plan or device behind why society is teaching our children these things. They're conditioning our children and our youth for the ultimate destruction that's to come later on. And so we, as adults, as their covering, you know, have a fight on our hands to win them back and keep them protected. You know, we have to do what we have to do in order for them to get it.
That's it. And that's all it takes. And it's simple. You won't, again, I say, because I know you sitting there thinking, like, what can I do? What is it?
Right.
Oh, it takes a lot. I promise you, it takes nothing but turning. The answer, like he gave it to us, just turn from it. So you see that this is in opposition to what it is that I got going on. It's as simple as love and hate. Do you know the definition of each? And do you know what that looks like? When you are showing any form of jealousy, that's hatred. When you are talking about others, hatred. When you are because you think you think that it's just, you think if somebody murders somebody with a gun, you don't stand in the same avenue or on the same platform with the person because you've murdered somebody with your tongue. Like both of y'all guilty of the same crime. Like you went to jail and you ain't get caught up with your slick mouth. Like it was
right.
No different God where it mattered. You know, it was just because society said, and we got to get away from going along with societal standards that don't go along with God, that don't coincide with Him. You know,
and I think, you know, throughout this series, like I have real conversations with God, or well, the characters that I'm playing, you know, and I think that that's what the youth can really pull from this is just having their own relationship with God.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
even when Sarah messed up and, didn't trust him and just took matters into her own hands, you'll see in upcoming episodes that she did self-reflect and she cried out to God, and she's like, I want to fix this. Like, I want to trust you. Like, I know that you have a plan. And, so sometimes, well, not sometimes, all the time, God wants us to, let's talk about it. Let's, if this is a weakness, let's talk about it, and so we, our kids, we have to let them know that it's okay, that whatever you're dealing with, give it to them. Just give it to them. Just talk about it.
Yes. And the same way he's a parenting model. So the same way in which that he models that parenting for us, we should be modeling that for them. So when they come to us and they trying to tell us something that's difficult for them, don't shoot it down.
Yes.
You're right there to listen. That granted, listen, I tell people all the time, you're gonna get hit with the same question, the answer he gave Job. Where were you when I created the heaven and the earth? But please come to me. Let's still talk about it. I still want to talk about it. And if you could see, one thing that I've learned recently, especially in the month of January, is when you have a father, he is your father. Listen, he can't wait to buy the diapers. And when I say that, I mean, when you make a mistake, he's there to cover you. He ain't judging you. He ain't holding it against you. He ain't, he's still he's going to restore you. He's still going to put you back in the same position before you failed. He ain't going to treat you no different. And guess what? He can't wait to cover it if you're turning to him. And that's the truth of the matter. And we got to get back. We got to teach our children that as parents, we have to learn that and model that. So again, I say the frustration with our children, it comes from the fact that one, that they can see clearly through our inconsistencies. And then two, the fact that we tell them to do something that we ourselves aren't. And then let's just go to three. We put them in positions that they were never supposed to be in. And then we wonder why. We wonder why, I love this. I can't wait till next week. Because it just get deeper and deeper. And I need for my youth out there, I need them to be able to stop and see themselves. When we're looking at these different characters, I want you to stop and be like, oh, there go Mary right there. See, look at you, little manipulator. Look at you trying to wheel and turn and twist. I need you to be able to call your own hand. You know what I'm saying? That's what queens. We don't need nobody to check us. We check ourselves.
Absolutely.
It's man, this was just an amazing everything. Any final thoughts, like, because y'all, this was dope. This dope. No, we talk about this forever. Talk about Sarah. Okay, girl, please. She was on one. I'm telling you. On one. Girl, girl, if she would have called me, girl, I would have.
So she needed a honest friend in her life.
Huh?
Hello,
right, Sarah. Now know well what you did.
Right.
We're not gonna do this.
Right, you did what?
Yeah, absolute ridiculousness.
Any final thoughts, Miss Michelle? Anything? Final thoughts? We're gonna play like a small clip of next week's, but any final thoughts?
I do want to share how you can follow Personas of Faith. It is on all platforms: Spotify, Apple Music. It was just recently released to Amazon Music a couple of months ago. And so, just follow the journey. It's exciting. Season 2 is even more exciting. It's all about love, and love is in the air. So, but it can. Definitely follow us. And there is a Personas of Faith Facebook page too, where you can get information about just the current news. And sometimes I do raffles and giveaways and things like that. So I'd love for you to subscribe to that page too.
Yes, absolutely. Miss Shannon Star, CIA. You got anything coming from the crisis intervention perspective?
I mean, really, everything that I said, is it. I know we looked at it from Hagar and, from the adult point of view, but for the children, for the youth that find themselves born into some situations and living in some circumstances that is completely out of their control because it's decisions that was made by the adults. I just want to encourage you to find something that you can engage in, that you can lose yourself in, a passion or something that where you can, it can be your out, whether it's a sport or whether, it's writing, whether it's cooking, something that can be your therapy at home so that you can lose yourself and kind of escape the reality of what is really going on. Because I understand that a lot of times you all don't have access to therapy and to counseling. I'm an advocate. When I say I'm an advocate for therapy and counseling, if that is a possibility, listen, talk to your parents and let's get it done because anything worth having or anything worth fighting for is worth having. And you
Yeah.
are definitely worth the fight. So let's do what you have to do first and foremost to protect yourself and to fight for yourself, even if nobody else is fighting for you in your
Yes.
home or in your personal, intimate environment. Know that somebody out here is willing to reach out and grab your hand. So you are not alone by far. And I just encourage you, like I said, to make that move, make an investment into yourself.
That's it.
Okay, because there is more. You don't have to choose the negative. You don't have to choose violence or um, drugs or other things that's going to pull you further away from life, that's going to make you lose life or the sustenance of life,
Yeah.
of yourself. There's other opportunities. Will it be easy all the time? Absolutely not. I won't sit here and I won't lie to you and tell you that it will be. It's the easiest thing. It's absolutely not. It's a fight. It's tedious sometimes and
Yes.
you'll want to give up, but know that somebody is always out here listening. And if you don't have anybody else, you can always contact us here at Rock Youth Rock Truth.
Yes.
Any parts of the Rock Truth Radio station, we are
Yes.
always here, willing to do whatever it takes
Yes.
to be that hand that you need, that shoulder that you need, that ear that you need, in that covering that you absolutely deserve. So just know that you are loved.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I
Yeah.
totally agree. I totally agree. Like, my final thoughts would just definitely just target out our males, our young
Mhm.
males out here, and understanding that one, you a king. I'm just gonna put this one out there for free. You a whole king. Okay, you are a man. I don't care if you're in a smaller house. You are a man, and your job is to cultivate everything that is around you. Okay, so like sis was saying, if there's an environment that's not conducive, you are old enough to recognize I'm living in a current environment that's not conducive to my growth. You are still within the responsibility of finding somebody,
Mm,
latching up with somebody to connect
yeah.
to in order to go. You can't just use that as an excuse and say that you've been dropped. Let me tell you something. Everybody been dropped. Everybody been dropped. And the reason that I really want to point out our males is because one, the show today was to focus on the Men Too movement. And there are a lot of men out here who have
Yes,
been
yes.
abused, whether it's physical, mental, or psychological,
Emotion. Yeah.
or emotionally, or sexually.
Sexually.
Sexually, and that's a primary factor, and it's not being discussed. It goes swept under the rug, and they're damaged by this. They're damaged.
Hmm.
They don't have anybody to talk to about it because they, again, like who do you talk to?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And who you already are. Talk about people not having chances at life. Like, don't
Mm.
rob your children no further of having a chance
That
at
chance.
life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
a chance, not just at life, but a chance at love. A chance
Absolutely.
at love.
That's good.
You know what
Hmm.
I'm saying? So our men, our young brothers, if there is something going on, listen to me, brothers. Say something. Say it's all right. We are still here.
Yes,
It's
it is.
women here to still protect you. We don't judge you because here's the thing:
Speak up.
everybody here some way. You got here because somebody else touched the last person that 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 touched the last person. So you're not just here on your own because you chose this or that. You're here because you chose you. You know what I'm saying? So just to our brothers, to our men, to our kings, you're a king. And if you need help, you need anything, reach out to us, man. Reach out to God, reach out to whatever outlets are around, but we're saying we're here, you know, and stand up, stand up. It is just that time right now. We need you brothers to stand up. Yes, stand and lead and wait. I'm proud of you. All right, y'all. This is our time. This was dope to me. It was everything. I love my Monday gal. Now look at my face. I love Monday. You see the difference? Did you just see the difference? How the Lord my whole face before we started. I love Monday. Right here. Now after this, we talk about the kingdom, Christ. Shoot. What? Ourselves. I'm telling you, I was there, girl, please. This is a constant journey of tedious work upon Mary. So, you know. But thank you so much, Ms. Michelle, for sharing this and allowing us.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me like on the show and share this story, and this is amazing. I appreciate it.
No, we appreciate. We're honored. I'm so serious, sis. Like the dopest thing. This is a soap opera I get into. Like I never did like Days of Our Lives and all that other stuff. Like I ain't never knew about Erica and them. My sister did. She stayed knowing about Erica. What was it? What's his name? Trevor? Chaz?
I can't.
I mean, for decades, she had the same issues with men, and she didn't go through her. Erica came.
Right.
Erica, probably still out here doing the do. I don't know what she doing. But that was always the story. But these little soap operas. Oh, I can get in this. I can get with this.
Yeah, it gets a little bit juicy.
Yes, it is juicy, girl. So join us. Yeah, and speaking of which, let me go ahead and play this as we are going out. We love y'all. We thank y'all. Let's put y'all on like the cusp of everything real quick. Hold on.
Dramatization purposes, the author uses internal monologue as a tool to invite listeners into the mind of the characters, to hear some of their most intimate, unspoken thoughts. Personas of Faith will offer multiple perspectives that give listeners more insight about the characters' feelings, thoughts, and motivations. This podcast is intended for mature audiences.
Welcome to Personas of Faith. Join me, your host, Michelle Unveiled. Episode 2, The Surrogate. I must admit, this was not easy to watch. Another woman carrying my baby? I just wished I had never mind. I just have to wait this out. It'll all be worth it in the end. I am literally counting down the days until she delivers our baby. I've always fantasized about how I would look with a baby bump. Gosh, the thought of a living human being growing inside of me, it's just such an exhilarating feeling. I tell you what, I don't wish this on any woman. But I trust God. I know that He has the perfect plan.
Ain't that? We just gonna stop right there. We just gonna stop right there. We stop until next week to talk about how she trusts God and knows that now He has the perfect plan after she didn't plan to. That's it. Next week. The comment section. Shout out to everyone and some extra players that came through. Miss Jasmine Nicole, Karen Thomas, KT was in the building. Gary, Crown Me, Carlton. Thank you so much, King, for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. I think I may have said Jasmine Brantley, just in case. Miss Nicole. Did we see Doc Ock was out there, Shantae was out there, and of course Will was out there. Shout out to y'all. We love y'all, and we will see y'all next week. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.